Here we have an equation and we have to solve for x in this equation. That is, we have to find the value of x in this equation. Actually, this is an exponential equation because we have variable at the exponent. Okay, whenever I'm trying to solve for a variable in an exponential equation, what I need to do is I have to get the same base on both sides. Once I get the same base on both sides, I can equate the exponents and I can solve for the variable. So here we have the base 2 on the left side. Here on the right side we have 8. But already we know that 8 is a power of 2. That is, we can write 8 as a 2 to the third power. When I write 8 as a 2 to the third power, then I'll be able to get the same base 2 on both sides. Okay, let me write the stuff on the left side as it is. Now on the right side, I'm going to write this 8 as a power of 2. That is 2 to the third power. And we have this exponent x over here. Okay, so now what do we have to do with these two exponents? We can use the power of a power rule in exponents. That is, we have the base a. Let's consider the exponent m for the base a. And for the complete stuff, again, we can consider an exponent n. So whenever we have two exponents like this, what we can do is we can multiply these two exponents, then we get a to the power m times n. So this is the power of a power rule in exponents. So I'm going to do the same stuff over here because here we have base 2 and we have exponent 3 for the base 2, and for this complete stuff we have the exponent x. So now in the next step, what we can do is we can multiply the two exponents over here. Okay, so we have 2 to the power square root of x equals to 2 to the power. When I multiply these two exponents, I'm getting 2 to the power 3x. Okay, now these two terms are equal with the same base 2. Since the two terms are equal with the same base 2, we can equate the exponents. That is square root of x equals to 3x. Okay, now so we have to solve for x. For that, first we have to get rid of this square root over here that we have for the square that we have for the x. So to get rid of the square root over here, I have to square both sides. Okay, now let me square both sides. So when I square both sides, square and square root will cancel out. I just get x on the left side. And here 3 and x are multiplied and we have the common exponent 2. So whenever two terms are multiplied and we have the common exponent, the exponent can be distributed to each term and multiply the terms. Then I'm getting 3 square times x square. Okay, x equals to, we know that the value of 3 square is 9, 9 times x square. Okay, so to solve for x, we need the variable on one side of the equation, but here the variable x appears on both sides of the equation. Okay, so to get rid of the variable on one of the sides, I'm going to subtract 9x square from both sides to get rid of the variable on the right side. So this positive 9x square, negative 9x square will cancel out. I'm getting x negative 9x square equals to 0. Okay, now, so here we have x, here we have x. That is, both the terms here are the common divisor, greatest common divisor x. So we can factor x out. So whenever two terms have the greatest common divisor, some value, that can be factored out. So here x is the greatest common divisor for these two terms. So we can factor x out. So if x is factored out, what do we have left in the first term? To know that, we have to divide this x by the 1 we factor out. When I divide x by x, I'm getting 1. So we have 1 left in the term over here. So what do we have left in the 9x square? To know that, we have to divide this 9x square by the 1 I factor out, that is x. So when I divide 9x square by x, the square will cancel, you just get 9x. So when I factor this expression x negative 9x square, I'm getting x times 1 negative 9x. Okay, so the product of x and 1 negative 9x equals to 0. So whenever the product of two quantities equals to 0, either the first quantity can be 0 or the second quantity can be 0 or both of them may be 0. Okay, already this is solved for x, that is x equals to 0, and we have to solve for x in this equation. For that, I subtract 1 from both sides. When I do so, this positive and negative 1 cancel out, I get negative 9x equals to negative 1. Okay, now I divide both sides by negative 9. So when I divide both sides by negative 9, this negative 9 will cancel out. I get x equals to, this negative will cancel out. I get 1 over 9. So solving the given exponential equation, I'm getting two values for x. So one value of x is x equals to 0 and the other value of x is x equals to 1 over 9.